ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
There's 36,000 of us in California. We can be there and actually give the vaccine.
The dentists have now been green-lighted to join the fight against COVID-19. The state made a waiver available that would allow them to administer the vaccine. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. It comes as the governor looks to speed up the rate of vaccinations. ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura shows us why many dentists feel the need to step up.
On Monday, Governor Gavin Newsom said California has received nearly 1.3 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, and more than 454,000 of them have been administered.
It's gone too slowly, I know, for many of us, all of us, I think. We want to see 100% of what's received immediately administered in people's arms.
The governor says the state is working to speed up distribution efforts by looking to allow more people to help in vaccinations.
To accelerate the efforts of who can distribute the vaccines, dental administration, so dentists administering the vaccine, the pharmacy techs, National Guard.
On Monday, the California Department of Consumer Affairs approved a public health emergency waiver that will allow the state's roughly 36,000 dentists to administer vaccines. Dr. Richard Nagy is on the board for the California Dental Association. They are applauding the move.
As dentists, we are the experts in giving injections. We give them in places that are rather challenging, inside the mouth, where there's a tongue, where there is bones, ligament.
Nagy says for now, the dentists that are interested in helping give vaccines will likely be offering their services to hospitals, patient centers, and clinics. And dentists can start doing so following some additional training.
As part of the waiver, a dentist will need to take a 3-hour class, which is through the CDC, to be trained on the specifics of the COVID vaccine, especially in terms of handling any allergies or side effects.
Nagy says many dental offices, just like every aspect of society, has been impacted by the pandemic, and dentists want to do what they can to help get things back to normal.
So we see how this is affecting people, scaring people, and we're all just tired of dealing with all of these changes in our lives since March. We want to all get past this quickly.
Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
Nationwide, 70% of vaccines distributed to hospitals and clinics have yet to be administered.
Governor Newsom warned Californians may see an even larger spike in COVID-19 cases here in the coming days. The state recorded nearly 30,000 new cases yesterday. The governor said those numbers are misleading because of a lag of testing over the weekend. Hospitalizations are up 18% over the past 2 weeks. Health experts say this does not include the potential impacts of holiday gatherings.
This is a deadly disease. This is a deadly pandemic. It remains more deadly today at any point in the history of this pandemic.
There is a call to bring the USNS Mercy back to Southern California. The ship was in Los Angeles last March to alleviate hospitals, but is now up in Portland.
An inflatable Christmas costume may be to blame for a COVID-19 outbreak inside a San Jose hospital. One person is dead. At least 44 people have been infected. They're emergency department staff members at the Kaiser Permanente San Jose Medical Center. Administrators say the virus may have been spread when an employee wore the costume into the ER on Christmas Day. They say the person had no symptoms at the time, and the person who died was working that night. The others who tested positive did so in the days that followed.
I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
It is the phone call that sent shockwaves throughout Capitol Hill. A conversation between President Trump and a top election official in Georgia revealed the president's continuing attempts to overturn the election. ABC's Andrew Dembert has more on the call that was released just hours before the conclusion of the all-important Senate runoff races in the very same state.
It's a remarkable recording.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
President Donald Trump heard pressuring Georgia's top election official, Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
On the call, Trump is repeatedly heard pushing him to find enough votes to flip Joe Biden's win in the Peach State. The president at times lobbing vague legal threats if Raffensperger did not comply.
You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense.
Raffensperger telling Good Morning America the president is misinformed and the election was fair and accurate.
The data that he has is just plain wrong.
The backlash swift.
Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States.
But that's not stopping 140 House Republicans and at least 12 Republican senators from challenging the Electoral College results when Congress convenes on Wednesday. The move is mostly political theater. They don't have the votes to overturn Biden's victory. And as the president sows doubt on election integrity in Georgia, he's holding a rally in the state on the eve of all important Senate runoff races there, whose winners will decide whether Republicans or Democrats will hold the majority in the Senate.
When you win in a landslide, and they steal it, and it's rigged, it's not acceptable. Not acceptable.
President-elect Joe Biden is also campaigning for Democrats, not addressing the call specifically, but saying,
politicians cannot assert, take, or seize power. Power is given, granted by the American people alone. And we can never give that up.
Meanwhile, the district attorney in Georgia's Fulton County is not ruling out the possibility of filing state charges against President Trump or his aides who were involved in that call. Some legal experts have questioned if the president violated any election interference laws. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News in Washington.
This week, the National Guard will deploy in Washington, D.C. in light of potential protests. Mayor Muriel Bowser requested the assistance and Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller granted it. Pro-Trump rallies are planned during a politically busy week. Bowser says she wants the help because some protests earlier this year resulted in criminal activity.
Obviously, I'm very excited to take this next step. There'll be a lot of work still to go.
That's former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer getting closer to officially running for governor. Today, he launched an exploratory committee. That's a step typically taken when a candidate wants to expand fundraising and build a campaign. Faulconer says he could run if current Governor Gavin Newsom is recalled or in 2022. He joined us earlier on ABC 10 News, attacking Newsom's handling of the pandemic.
Outdoor dining is not allowed. No science to that. When we see the delay in safely reopening our schools, you see that frustration.
Governor Newsom's spokesperson shot back saying, quote, Kevin Faulconer and other Trump supporters want California taxpayers to waste $100 million on special election months before a regular election. He also says that Faulconer failed San Diego's handling of the pandemic and homeless crisis.
Tonight, a former police officer in La Mesa is facing charges after his arrest of a black man last year was caught on camera and led to protests in the city. The San Diego District Attorney made the announcement today. As our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains, the officer is accused of lying on a police report.
You're talking about, are you smoking weed and shit, bro? Suck my.
It is important to hold those who do wrong accountable.
Dr. Akilah Weber, the vice mayor of the city of La Mesa, says residents have been asking for transparency and accountability after this controversial arrest in May.
Matthew Dages broke the trust that we as the residents had placed in him as a police officer.
Monday, the district attorney announced the former officer involved in the arrest is facing a felony charge for filing a false police report. Matthew Dages is accused of falsifying the reason for Amari Johnson's detention as well as his actions.
So this is definitely a part of the healing process.
In the video, Dages is seen shoving Johnson down onto a bench and handcuffing him. At the time, Johnson was told he was being arrested for assaulting an officer, which the video does not show.
You're being placed under arrest for 241C, okay?
The first moments of the incident are cut off. Troy Owens represents Johnson in a civil suit and says many questions remain.
More charges should be filed. Mr. Johnson feels as though he was assaulted and battered with absolutely no legal justification.
The video sparked outrage and protests. After body cam footage was released, the La Mesa Police Department said it was not pursuing charges against Johnson, and Dages was later fired.
We brought in some outside investigators. They did their job. They did an excellent job. They came to a conclusion which allowed for us to move forward with our police chief terminating Matt Dages.
A statement from acting La Mesa Police Chief Ray Sweeney says in part, "We have worked closely with the San Diego District Attorney's Office over the past several months on this matter. The La Mesa Police Department holds each and every member of the department to the highest standards of integrity in order to protect and serve our community and keep its trust." If convicted, Dages could face up to 3 years in prison. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Dages will be arraigned on March 9th at a virtual hearing. A civil suit filed by Johnson is ongoing.
La Mesa police are looking for tips after a man with a gunshot wound was dropped off at a hospital and died. The driver of this red Honda sedan dropped off Jose Torres Day just before 7 o'clock Wednesday night. This was outside Sharp Grossmont's emergency room. Police say the driver took off immediately. Hospital staff tried to save Torres Day, but he died shortly after. It's still not known when or where the victim was shot.